Good evening, guys, and welcome to Are You Brave Enough? I'm Amy, your host for the tonight. Tonight, Danny and Steve are at a secret location. Can you guess where they are? Tonight, I'm on my own in the studio, but please share and like and bump up those arts, please. And I'm not sure if Trudy's on after the show tonight, so we will see. Anyway, let's get on with the show, and I'll bring the boys on. Hello.
Evening, Ames. Evening, everyone.
Hi, you're right, Steve. You're right, Dan.
We're good.
How are you both?
Hello, how are you?
Good. I'm okay, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
It's really good. Was you guys on location last night?
I was at Fort Amherst. First time there, so no, it was good. Good activity. Good bunch of people turned up. So yeah, we'll be there
I'm
again.
really jealous. I really want to go to that location. It's on my
bucket
list.
Lots of things happening there.
Oh, brilliant! So, how about you, Dan?
I was off last night. I was at a barbecue for a 30th birthday party, so I didn't get to have any of the action.
No, neither did I. I was working up at the Haunted Antiques.
I did get to do some tarot cards last night, so swings and roundabouts.
Brilliant. I was up at the Haunted Antiques last night working, looking after teams. And
your new app that's just been launched?
Yes, the new app for the Haunted Antiques, the HAPRC app. So if anyone wants it, download it. That was my plug. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the location without telling anybody where it is?
Okay. I won't give too much away. We're in southeast England. You might hear some road noise because we're quite close to a motorway.
Okay.
But that's all you're getting at this stage.
Okay. So if anybody picks anything up, please put it in the comments, or if there's any questions that you want to ask. So please put it in the comments and we'll give you a shout out. So good evening, everyone. Anyway, so we've had a lot of people saying good evening to you all, and we've had a few people saying how brilliant Fort Amherst was last night as well. So
yeah, it's a good place.
So, do you want to give us a little bit of a tour?
We can do. There's two areas
here.
There's
Steve,
quite an open area. There's quite a wooded area. So there's a wooded area and quite an open area. The wooded area does feel it's a lot heavier atmosphere in here, I find.
Okay.
But we'll go for a walk round in a second and see what we can find.
We've got a couple of people thinking you may be in Epping Forest.
No, not Epping Forest.
Oh, it's back in my old stomping ground, but we're not there.
Yeah, and mine.
And, oh, hang on.
It's really interesting. The Ovulus has just picked up cannot come.
Wow.
So maybe someone cannot come and visit us tonight. Who knows?
Who knows? Ruth Mansfield says Deering Forest.
Which forest was that, sorry?
Deering.
No, Deering. It's not Deering Forest.
Why is your camera going purple, Steve?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's weird.
It hasn't happened all since we've been here.
No, it hasn't.
Vicky Milton says Bluebell Hill.
No, we're not Bluebell Hill.
And Dylan Thomas says, are you around Farnham, Guildford?
No, nowhere near Guildford.
No.
And are you at Walderslade Wood?
No, nowhere near Walderslade.
Yes, and Claire's put, Steve, your camera's going pink. Never done that before.
It's very strange. It didn't do it when we did a test here early in the week either. So
Nope. We just had the word soul come up on the Ovulus as well. So it seems like we're having some visitors already.
Jane says seeing Anglo-Saxon in a swampy area and also friars in brown habits.
Anglo-Saxon would be correct.
Well done, Jane. And Jane is our medium at the Haunted Antiques.
Ah.
Oh, good on you, Jane. Steve, where have you gone? I can't see you.
Dylan says...
I don't actually know.
Dylan says, what about Sussex?
Oh, that's a bit vague, isn't it? No, but we're not Sussex.
And Ellen says Pluckley.
No, not Pluckley.
What questions have you got for us, folks? What do you want to see? Steve is somewhere. I literally have no clue where he is because he's disappeared.
Nor do I.
What do you want to know? It feels really, where I am, feels really like, I don't know, dense. It feels really like there's something really heavy around us.
Yeah.
We've still got people coming up with asking where you are. James says Surrey or Hampshire. And Colin says Oldbury Woods in Inkham.
No, none of those.
Denise says Iding and feeling burnt. That's what she's picking up on.
Very good. That is very good.
Oh, D.
Claire says, don't get lost. I'm not coming to find you.
Great.
He's gone. I don't know where he is.
If anyone's picking up any names of spirits around or anything, please put them in the chat.
Yeah, there's a lot of names that is associated with this place. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of history on it.
Absolutely. James asks if you're in Yorkshire. We're down in the south of the country, so... Laura says Toys Hill.
Ooh, where's Toys Hill?
Very good, Chloe. Smell of burning and feeling links to witches.
Chloe, very well done. That is brilliant. We'll find Steve shortly. He's literally run away somewhere.
Absolutely. We've not in Cornwall, James.
I wish we were in Cornwall. Nice down there.
Denise says Catherine Albert Richard.
Catherine Albert Richard?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
A lot of people are picking
Can't see that on my list at all.
Not unless it's 3 separate names. Jane says, seeing pagan celebrations in the woods with a horned god celebrating the summer solstice.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I can imagine that happening as well. Very much so.
Laura says near Sevenoaks, Danny.
Not quite.
Dylan says Dorking. And
no,
Karen,
not Dorking.
And Karen says I feel Edward.
Steve, was Edward one of the names we saw on that list? There were a few gentlemen's names.
Just having a look now.
Steve's one of the chief researchers. I'm out of my comfort zone. Oh, Edward looks like there was a connection to this area. Yeah, well done.
Right. James is still going on about location of area, and he says Devon or Somerset or Dorset, but it's not any of those ones either. It's the other way. Lisa mentions the name Elizabeth, and Dee said separate names. So those three names that she got, she meant them separate.
Okay.
James mentioned the name, mentions Wiltshire.
Elizabeth would be correct.
Well done, Lisa. Jane says for the Friars, the name Cuthbert. James mentions Woking.
I can't see a Cuthbert on my list.
I think Cuthbert's more Northumberland way as well. Well, there is a Cuthbert in Northumberland, on Lindisfarne and that, so. Right.
Can anyone feel or sense anything around us?
Well,
We're both
Julie,
in slightly different locations now, so it'd be good to see if anyone's picking anything up.
absolutely. Julie says I'm getting a picture of runes with markings on them.
Yes. Yeah, so not where we are. On the other side of this location where it's a bit more open, there are two monuments that have been here for some time. And on those monuments, there are markings on them. So that's very good. Well done.
Sue says, got Essex and the name Anne. Got name Francis. So Anne and the name Francis. Becky's put
Okay, the name
Pens
Anne is very relevant. But there's quite a few Annes that are associated with this area. So if you can get any more, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. Newlands Connor. Laura put, names I'm getting are George, James and John.
Yes, John would be relevant.
Did you say George as well? George would
yes.
also be one from a list I've got, yeah.
Yeah. Chloe says, getting
Great
the names
job.
Agatha and Agnes. Getting the names Agatha or Agnes.
So,
And James says Newlands Corner.
Ah,
It's not there.
we're not in Newlands Corner, no.
Dylan says Henry VIII connection with Anne and John.
Anne and John are relevant.
And Julie says surname of Markham. And Sue's getting royalty. And James says Sutton Place or Hampton Court.
No, it's neither of those.
And Dee's getting Cleves. So I'm not sure if she's thinking Anne of Cleves or something like that.
Please.
Jill Page says, I'm feeling a sickness with where you are.
Yeah,
Jill,
it's
as you
very
said that, like the front
impressive.
of my head has gone really heavy. Like I haven't had a headache all day, but just like this front lobe of my head is just feeling very heavy all of a sudden.
Laura's picking up Pendleton Heath. And Jane says, is there a spring or an old well nearby?
I don't know on the spring.
And Sue says, was Anne killed?
I've just found Steve.
just found
He actually
Danny.
scared the life out of me because I did not know what the hell was going on. He literally scared the bejesus out of me. And was killed. Yes, that is very relevant.
And Beverly Oxford says plague pit.
Mm.
Not that I know of.
And Laura says, I thought water nearby too, and possible some sort of ruins.
Yeah, we've definitely got water nearby us. Not too far at all. The ruins, I'm pretty sure we'll go and check the signs as we leave later on, but I'm pretty sure one of those have ruins on them. They're definitely from way back.
Michelle says, my breathing has all of a sudden got quite deep while watching.
Yeah, Michelle, my chest feels tighter than what it did do. Almost like I'm having to take shorter breaths as opposed to long, like normal breaths. It just feels much tighter.
Yeah.
It's
Can
like
anyone
it's travelled from my head to my neck, now into my chest. It's like it's doing
Absolutely.
the movement through the body.
Yeah. Can anyone tell how Anne was killed? Sue, yes, we've established there was witches there. And Julie's picking up the name Ruth. And Dylan wants to know, was Anne drowned by John?
Ooh.
No, not in this instance. I don't think so. No.
Is there anything to do with Matthew as well?
Matthew.
Can't see a Matthew on mine.
Laura says, I'm getting the feeling you're being
No, I haven't
watched
got a Matthew on mine.
like someone on
Yeah.
an ambush.
I've got that feeling as well, Laura. It's the camera makes it look like lighter than what it actually is, but it's got very dark all of a sudden around here.
Yeah, it really has. Steve, when you were walking over the opposite side, when you were that way, like the opposite to where you are now, how did it feel over there? Because it does look very dark over that corner.
What, when I went past you?
That side.
It feels
The other side.
It feels heavier where I am now.
Okay, interesting.
Julie says, I'm seeing frayed rope bindings.
Funny you say that, Julie. As we walked in, there was some frayed rope. I wonder is there a particular colour rope you're seeing? Because that would be also really interesting. See if you picked up the rope that we saw as we came in.
Dylan says Anne was drowned. Laura is saying hiding in the trees. And also, Michelle says, was someone burnt or strangled? And Anne and Sue says, feel Anne was put in water like a witch. And Lisa's saying, I'm getting ducking bored.
Anne was indeed a witch.
Also, afraid has just come up on the Ovulus, which is lovely to hear, isn't it?
Jill's saying, I'm getting bells, but can't see how it fits
in
looking at where you are.
Bells.
There's a real feeling that
Steve,
you're being
have you read anything
around.
about bells?
Well,
I haven't.
Chloe says there's a male energy.
If you go out onto the open part, yeah.
Chloe says there's a male energy drawing close to Steve, heavy set male. And
Okay.
Julie says it seems to be a light colour. And Denise feels the need to say 88.
Just going through my list of dates.
And Sue, says Phil witches were hiding from someone in the woods. Isabella asks, did people die there?
Yes. Yes, they did.
Yes, indeed, they did. It's amazing. The only person I've seen in the woods is Danny, but it's amazing how many there is, like snapped logs and twigs going behind me as we're going along here.
Absolutely. Sue says, think about trees there. Oh, something about trees there. And Karen has put, is Anne Boleyn the witch?
Steve, while you look that up, Shepherd has just come
Don't
up
think
on
so,
the
not in this
obelisk as well. I
instant.
don't know if Shepherd is a name for you.
There's a thick-set man hanging around Dan, Jill's put. And Julie says, why am I getting M? Those that died, were they killed? Isabella wants to know. So,
Steve, did you just hear that screaming?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
I didn't hear a scream, but it was weird because all the birds around it just actually flew up into the air.
It was like there was a shriek. It was really weird.
Could be a fox. Dylan says, is there a river nearby which connects to the Thames or Thames?
Will it go into the Thames?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
This is testing my river knowledge.
Laura says, I get the feeling that a group of people running for their lives, but caught, bound and killed by blow to the head, buried in shallow graves. Sue says, witch trials. And Denise says, Thomas Becket. And Isabel Fellow says, were they hanged from the trees?
No, I don't think they were hung from the trees, no.
And Sue says, witch hunt, keep getting. Julie's
good.
mentioned, I'm seeing a robed male. Evening Pops. That's Neil. And Jill's put, I'm seeing there were fires in that area, not sure if they were old buildings.
Fires would be correct, Jill.
Karen says, I can sense chanting. And Sue is getting the name John Stern.
John has a relevance here. That's not the surname we've got, though.
Okay. Julie says arrows. And Dee is saying, Dan, is there a gun dog near you in the tree line?
Not sure, Dee. There's some really weird energies around. My leg just went completely dead at the bottom of my leg, like my left leg, and my left arm as well. It's like the whole left side of my body is just, I don't know, very heavy, very dead. And it's like, I don't know,
Okay.
it's like I'm being watched. I keep turning around, but as I
Yeah.
start to walk away, it's like, no, I can't walk away. I need to come back. It's like something
Yeah, that's
stopping
what
it.
I
What's
keep
really
getting.
interesting, I don't know if you can see, Steve and I saw this. These aren't overly visited areas. There's paths, but we've come off of the footpath. And one of the trees that are close to us has like a stack of sticks, which is just, yeah, they're precisely stacked. And we both commented how weird it felt. And every time I get closer to it, it's like there's a real negative energy around it.
Isabella says fires. So does that mean the people that died there, they were burnt? Will says, I'm getting the name Maria. It's with a foreign lady, Olive. Foreign lady, olive skin, Spanish or Italian, possibly. So Maria, foreign lady.
There is a
olive
European
skin.
connection.
Okay,
There is
well
a
done,
European
Will.
connection, but not the countries that you mentioned.
Okay. Laura says stoning it to the back of the head.
Not that I know of on that one.
Chloe says seeing smoke behind Dan, feel there was a cauldron there.
Yeah,
That would
Chloe,
make sense.
there's definitely something that went on behind where I am. It's almost like, I don't know, the way it's shaped is like circular, like people would have been around something. And the closer I get to that energy, it does feel quite heavy.
Okay. Sue says feel some weren't witches but were classed as witches, but that's you can understand that.
Yeah, Sue, there's definitely some history that we see here where people were like wrongly found. So they were tried for one thing and then later on found that they were actually innocent, definitely.
Yeah.
Julie's put getting the feeling of multiple people hiding. Jane wants to know, was Anne branded a witch and sold out for money?
Anne was branded a witch. Not sure on the other part. But it depends which Anne. There's several Annes that are associated with this area.
Okay. Dee says, John Haddon, people were burnt through association. It's like a mass killing. And Claire's mentioned rituals.
Yeah, rituals would definitely be around here. Mass killings as well would make some sense. There have been a lot of people that have been taken through this particular area for sure. Steve, I don't know if you've got any other detail on your sheets for that.
Yeah, but there's been a lot. There's a lot of killings around this area. Going back hundreds of centuries.
Fraser's saying executions.
Yep, that would make sense.
Good on you, Fraser. And he doesn't even know where I've come tonight.
Ellen has said, I can't pick up anything at all tonight, almost like I'm being blocked. So.
Helen, it's really interesting you say that, because every time I want to kind of walk around, it's also like I'm being blocked. And the Ovulus, I've got it on, but it's only coming up with words now and again. It's like something's stopping it from picking any energies up. So yeah, and one of the first words that came out when I switched it on before we came live was silence, almost like someone was silenced or something was silenced and couldn't talk about it. So yeah, Helen, that's really great.
Yeah, that came out a couple of times.
Karen's put executioner from Calais.
Was that Calais? Calais, did you say? Sorry.
Yes, yeah. Executioner from Calais. Beverly's put witches were hung in...
France does have a connection.
Absolutely. Beverly's put witches were hung in England, historically not burnt, but heretics were burnt.
Oh. Very good.
If anyone's got any questions for Dan and his Ovilus, please put them in the comments, or if you know where we are, or if you've got any questions to ask, or if you're picking anything up, please put them in, and don't forget to leave the arts and the likes, and even share
Yeah, and
it.
someone help find Steve, because I have no clue where he's gone. He's left me in the middle of these woods on my own, and I keep
wish I
seeing
did.
and hearing things. So if you can help locate Steve, that would also be great. Yeah.
I can't actually hear you, Dan.
That's
For a while, I
scary.
could hear you actually, like, in person, but I'm quite a way away from you now, I think.
Where are you?
Not a clue.
Dylan Thomas says Gillingham in Kent, or Gillingham, whatever it is, and a connection with ships.
Don't know of any
And
ships.
and Karen says, are you in a place that had or still has a tower?
Ooh.
Certainly not one here now.
No, but before there could have been a connection to a tower, if we think of what we know, Steve.
Yeah.
Isabella says, sorry, I think you missed my question. Were witches burnt there? Or birth there? Or
Yes, that is correct.
Sue says, had Matthew Hopkins pop into my head, or someone like him?
I couldn't see Matthew on the sheet before at all.
And Dylan says, Leeds Castle in Kent connection.
We're close to Leeds, but not there.
And Laura says, is there a connection with Norman Conquest, William Conqueror?
Yes, there is. That's very good,
Yes,
Laura.
there is, Laura. Well done.
And Denise says, Agnes Waterhouse. That must be a name that she's picking up on. And Jill says, I know Knights of the Round Table aren't real, but I keep getting it. So could be a link to the era.
Yeah, I think that would be about right.
Yeah, 100%. That era would be a good time frame.
Julie Connolly says, I'm getting sisters. That could be quite possible.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, well done, Julie.
And Isabella Fellow says, I think you are in Kent. And Beverly Oxford says, Knights Templar connection. Dylan says, Kent, Anne, John, water, drowning near Leeds Castle. And Karen says in Exeter.
Can I give you a mini clue?
Go on then.
Oh, Steve.
Hello.
Yeah.
We're not. Ames, can I give you a mini clue? Yeah.
Go on.
No, don't worry. Someone mentioned right at the start Anglo-Saxon.
Yes. Jane.
The actual name of this place, if translated from Anglo-Saxon, is area of punishment.
Laura is saying shape-shifting. I'm sensing a wolf type dog scene. And Isabella says, I think Kent, only because you seem to be in Kent a lot. And Laura says, I'm still thinking Penedon Heathway. And Jane mentioned, were the witches sent to London for their trials? And Fraser mentions prison?
So, couple of things. So, Kent,
I believe the
yes,
witches are actually brought here.
We'll give you Kent. Steve just said they were brought here. Prison is a good connection. There's definitely relevance to prison. And yeah, it's what's really strange right now is it was, I would say, pretty cold when we got here. Like, it was quite windy, quite chilly, but the temperature is rising. It is getting warmer. Steve, how are you feeling wherever you are? I literally have no clue where you are. It's a little bit worrying, to be honest.
Nor do I. I think I'm up the hill from you, but I've just found another massive piece of woods down here, and it is very dark. The camera makes it look a lot lighter, and it is freezing cold in here.
Sue mentioned Lancaster got to do with it. So she thinks Lancaster's got to do with it. And Laura put similar scenario to Pendle Hill, I feel. Oh, and
Danny is getting scared. I just saw that comment from Fraser.
Yeah, Danny's getting scared. And Isabella says, I'm getting Protestant and Catholic for some reason. And Laura mentions Lancaster bomber, maybe a plane crash nearby. And Claire mentions, oh, don't leave him on his own, Steve. He's getting scared.
Oh, why am I getting the label for being the scared one? Do you know what? I'm going to hold scared with pride. There is definitely something in the back area of those woods, by the way. I keep turning around and it's catching my eye.
Maybe it's Steve.
I'm going to just keep talking, because if I talk, it's okay. I've got the sound of my own voice at the moment. The Lancaster bombers that you mentioned, that's quite interesting. So this area was an area that gathered a lot of army, many army men in the English Civil War, the Second Civil War. So, sorry, I just heard something over there that was rustling, and Steve is nowhere near me.
I'm nowhere near. I can't even hear you, Dan. So,
no, I literally just heard a load of rustling, like someone was moving, but there is absolutely no one over there.
apart from you guys, I can't even hear the motorway.
There we go. Steve, why don't
Julie
you try
says,
and come back towards me?
Your
if I knew which way to go, I would.
It's in tatters. Julie's put, there's a clearing that was used predominantly for rituals. Sarah's put, I've just joined and Dan looks petrified and nervous laughing. Dylan's put Biggin Hill, RAF, and also Maidstone as army connections.
Dylan, good couple of suggestions there. Very good couple of suggestions.
Isabella says, I'm thinking as something to do with the Doomsday Book. I don't know why.
It is mentioned in the Doomsday Book.
Yes. Yes. Yes, very well done.
Karen wants to know, are we in Cardiff? No, we're not. Becky wants to know Paddock Wood area.
No, not Paddock Wood area.
Isabella says Maidstone.
Maidstone would be a good area. Remember, boys, no spare parts needed. I'm going to need a change of clothes by the end of this.
Ivan!
I feel like I'm an extra in the Blair Witch Project right now.
Yeah, somebody mentioned the Blair Witch Project earlier.
Oh, did they?
Steve, bacon has just come up on the ovulus.
Oh.
It said
Anne
Pop
wants,
come up a
Festival
few
and then it
times.
said bacon. Yeah, it has.
yeah. Anne wants to know, is there an extremely old religious building nearby?
Yes, I would say there is one pretty close by. It's not in our location, but it's within walking distance. There's definitely a few old religious buildings that are close to us.
Okay. Dylan wants to know, there is a river that goes through Maidstone to the Thames. Also, there's a motorway near Maidstone. So I think he's guessing where you are, trying to guess where you are.
He's getting very warm.
Someone's mentioned Bluebell Hill before, and we did, and it isn't. Di's put it's not Epping Forest.
No, Di. We should do Epping Forest soon.
Yeah. Pendeneve, that's been mentioned a few times. Dylan's put Bluebell Hill as a ghost of a lady in her wedding dress. And Isabella says, what's that place beginning with P in Maidstone? I can't think.
Pop just came up on the Ovulus. Pop.
Okay.
Digging. Oh, gosh. Now we got digging.
Laura's put, are there several people with the same name, first name, not surname? I think we've established that there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sue's mentioned would be tunnels. Would there be tunnels?
Not that I know of at all.
Right.
are you near Moat Park? We're not near Moat Park, Julie. We're not far away, but we're not near it.
Isabel's mentioned the letter P. Beverly mentions Borton Chelsea. And Jill's mentioned, is it somewhere near a place known as the Downs?
I found Steve, by the way, because he just scared the life out of me again when I saw a figure, and
Well,
I'm like, what is that? And then I realised it was him.
I've come to look after you.
Thank you.
Are you near Moat Park?
I'd say we're probably about a decent time from Moat Park. I don't want to give it away just yet.
No. And Sarah's put, I am now late. Sorry, I'm late to the party, but are you in the Screaming Woods, Pluckley?
No.
We heard a scream, or Dan heard a scream, but it's not Pluckley.
I did hear
No.
a scream, honestly.
Ellen's put, just picked up a male spirit gloating at you now.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Chloe's put Bearsted.
Very close.
Chloe Bisted isn't too far from us.
Executions we've had already, and Von's put Allington Castle area. And Sue's mentioned Get Army as well, as in battle from or from way back.
Yeah, that would make sense. So yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
And Beverly mentioned organ. And we're still
Interesting.
and people are still using the area for witchcraft now. Is there an altar stone? Do we know?
Steve, have you seen one on your travels?
I haven't found it as yet. There's some very weird and wonderful gatherings and areas of like open areas, and that wouldn't surprise me. But no, not an actual altar stone. No.
Okay. Beverly mentioned, sorry, Otham. Isabella says invasions, and Catherine saying I'm getting UFO.
Oh.
And Ant's mentioned were witches killed on the way to their trials.
They were brought here.
Sean says Kit's Coty Wood.
Evening, Sean. Not quite. But Geek just come up on the Oculus.
Pardon?
It's always interesting. Geek.
Oh, wow.
That came up earlier.
Yeah.
I'm only about 30 yards from Dan, and I'm on a path here. I can just about see him through the trees. But it's looking back down this path. It's very, very eerie. And if anyone's following me, I'm sure they're coming along here.
Absolutely. Sue's mentioned witches were related or from the same family. And Isabella says, did good things happen there as well, like games? And
Interesting you say that, Isabella. So historically, I don't know if Steve's got much there. He's got all the research for today. But there is a playground very nearby. So good things are now happening here. Would be a really good a good connection. So yeah, great job.
Yeah. Beverly says it's pronounced autumn, and here's me calling it Otham.
So Ames, I had exactly the same issue. If you ask
there was
Fraser
actually
what
sport
my
played here.
pronunciation is like, literally, I'm terrible. So I'm with you. I called it autumn. You're not alone.
Oh, that's okay then. Laura wants to know, are horses' hooves heard?
Going back to games, that someone just mentioned games.
Yes.
There actually was international sport played here a couple of centuries ago.
Wow. Wow. Well done.
Steve, the number 100 just come up on the Ovilus as well. Has 100 got a connection from your history?
It may have.
Are children connected to the location?
To the actual game that was played.
Yeah.
Catherine wants to know, were children connected to the place, the location?
I don't think so.
Okay, hang on, I've scrolled too far. Ellen says, don't touch the wood.
It's really interesting you say that, Helen, because I keep wanting to touch the wood that's in the middle here. This is where Steve and I were drawn to. We walked around a little bit before we got here, and we ended up in this place. And we both went around this wooded area in the middle where all those, like, the branches are all crossed over very neatly, very well positioned. And I keep wanting to touch it, but something is stopping me as I get closer to it. It's like it's pushing me back.
Okay. Sue says, great sadness from mass graves as well. Isabella says, games, yes, sports, Steve. Oh, I've just gone too far.
Steve, if your camera's going purple again.
Yes, it keeps changing.
It's really weird. It has
It's weird. It goes really cold
all evening.
It goes cold around me, or colder than what it is. No, it's apart from the start.
It's a real purple haze.
Really?
It's got Jimi
Funny
Hendrix
because I can't see it on mine.
Yeah. Honestly, it's purple as anything.
We're not in Bluebell Wood, but it says, Sean says, is it the Pilgrim's Way wood going from Bluebell to Maidstone? No, I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
Dylan's mentioned archery.
Dylan, I am loving the emojis that are coming after you. After everything you put, it's really cool. Archery, Steve, was archery connected? I don't know where it's gone again. He keeps leaving me on my own.
I'm trying to keep my phone away from the K2.
K2.
So it doesn't interfere, but it's going mental.
Yeah, Steve, mine keeps doing the same thing, and I'm moving it away, and it's still doing it. I'm like, oh, it's this bit of tech, it's this bit of tech, and it keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down.
My lovely friend Michelle, she's put witches and put spells on that land.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, Michelle. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Beverly's put Chiltern Hundreds area.
That's very good.
And the hundreds come up on the Ovilus as well.
Yeah, the 100 did come up on the
Ovilus. Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't even put the connection together then.
I'm a rubbish historian, really. When I'm out, I'm no good at the history stuff. That's why Steve's doing it. He's in charge tonight.
Yeah. I'm too busy panicking.
How do you think I feel?
Von's put, was the old sport on water?
No, it wasn't.
James put a £100 for falsely accused Anne.
Oh my gosh, no, so £100, no, 100 shillings, yes, that's also the 100 connection.
Ah.
Wait, let me go back and read it. Because I remember now. Oh, thank you. Jay, look, you just reminded us. So,
this is why Jane gets paid the mega bucks.
A forfeiture of 100 shillings to the king. Yes. Connected. Good job. I've also got 10% battery left, so let's see how this goes.
We've only got a few minutes.
It should be all right then.
Claire's put, I'm sure I keep seeing a black figure behind Dan.
Claire, you would be right, which is why I keep don't wanting to be left on my own, because I keep seeing it and feeling it behind me, and that's why I keep turning around and looking down there, because I keep seeing it. And
Sue
straight, as you said, that came up on the Ovilus, almost straight behind me. Very strange.
Yeah. Sue's put, was it hunting ground for royalty?
Ooh. Steve, what are you saying? Steve's disappeared again.
Sorry, I'm just being a bit freaked out over here.
Is
Yeah.
there a bridge
hunting? No,
as well?
I don't.
Steve, you okay?
Yeah.
You're right there, Steve.
It's just like you. It's like you got like all these eyes watching you, but you can't see a soul.
Yeah.
Is there
Telepathy
a connection?
just came up on the Ovilus as well.
Okay. Dylan wants to know, is there a connection with Morris dancing and pilgrims? There is Pilgrim's Way from Winchester to Canterbury.
Don't think that would cross through where we are.
Right, hang on. Dee's put, it feels like people were the fake. If they got out, they survived. If they didn't, they were burnt. Children too.
Not sure on the children.
Yeah. Nicola Rose put White Horse Woods. Sarah's put Sarah's put, I can see figures between the trees behind Dan.
So can I, Sarah, which is why I keep wondering where Steve's gone.
That's why I'm going this way now.
He's behind you.
See what you can find.
Could be me.
Yeah, well, I'm in a stationary position.
Cheers, Dan.
I don't want to create an echo.
Jill's put, the man I mentioned around Dan is big built and wears brown top and trousers. Could be leather, protector, father figure at time of his passing.
Yes, it's definitely a bigger man, Jill. I definitely agree with you there. Steve, it's over to the right.
Okay. Oh, camera's going again, is it?
Look, I told you.
It's
Look,
gone
it's gone
purple
again.
It's gone purple on mine
I
this
told
time.
you.
Michelle's put, be careful, you'll be scratched by something.
Michelle, I think that's what it was doing to my leg earlier. It was almost like it was, wow, it just went really bright. It was like it was scratching or like digging into my leg.
Ellen's put, agree with Michelle, as there is an active spell that binds the ground's unwanted eyes.
Maybe it's a good time for us to say that we're coming here just to communicate in a friendly way and not to cause any harm. I know we're 55 minutes in, but it's probably a good time to share that, isn't it?
Absolutely. Fraser says, don't bring anything home, Dan.
Apart from a takeaway.
Apart from a takeaway. Ant says, get in what sounds like the name Elgin.
Elgin? Steve, is an Elgin on your list?
No. So I'm just looking now.
Where's that come from?
What's
Ooh,
the
what's
land
that
owned
called?
by Leeds Castle? Oh, Dylan, good question.
Yeah.
I don't know that one. It's close by, so it could be very much so.
Right, I'll keep going too far. We've only got 2 minutes left, boys.
Wow.
Okay.
Right, hang on. It might be a good time to tell people where you are, because we've less than a minute left.
Okay.
That's not much time. We'll let Steve do the honours.
Go on then, Steve.
Okay. Someone picked it up earlier, but we didn't want to spoil it. So yes, we are at Pennenden Heath. Witches were burnt here for about 500 years, I think from the 12th to the 17th century. Then they put gallows up before they moved them to Maidstone Prison. I know someone mentioned prison earlier. So yeah, then our last hanging here was 1780. But it's got quite a rich history. It was also a gathering point after the Battle of Hastings. It's actually been used in all the civil wars as well as like a gathering point.
Brilliant. You heard it here first. And
Isabella
mentioned... And one last comment. Isabella mentions cricket.
Cricket is correct. England actually played here against a Kent 11 a couple of times, a couple of 100 years ago.
Brilliant. Right, so
It's
the
a
end of the
really
show.
strange Ames. As the night's gone on, it's really crazy how much darker and like surrounded the area has become. When we turned up early, it was so light and bright. Honestly, it was like walking through in daylight. And it's not that when you look up the sky hasn't changed much. It's not much darker, but it has really secluded in, and you can definitely feel how different the energy is since we've been here.
Brilliant. I just want to say thank you to you guys for being there tonight, and I'm not sure if Trudy is on tonight or not.
She's not.
So she's not.
No, I don't think so.
So but I want to say thank you to everybody for watching.
So just before we go, it's probably a good time to go, because the two words that have just come up on the Ovulus are strange and remove. and the K2 just started flashing. So and then what's that? Thank, and then thanks. Nice. So yeah, probably a good time for us to start making our way out of it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, so thank you everybody for watching, and hope to see you all next week. So
Thanks
bye
all.
everybody, and thanks
Take
Steve,
care.
and thanks Dan.
See you soon.
See
Take
you
care.
all. Bye.
See you
Bye.
all soon.